All right, everybody. Welcome to How to Deal with Uncertainty and Change, episode 7. I'm
Mm.
so excited. We have an incredible guest today, and it's my honor to introduce her. Her name is Keiya K Rayne, and she's a spiritual advisor and healer of the highest vibration. She's a master coach and an international TEDx speaker. So we're very excited to have her today. And for more than 15 years, she's helped her clients access and clear the root cause of their problems, so they're free to align with their divinity and create a life, relationship, and business that they absolutely love. So Keiya is really great at doing that kind of work. She has also spoken at the United Nations NGO Commission on the Status of Women, has done multiple podcasts. She's also been the recipient of the White House President's Volunteer Service Award for her humanitarian work, domestically and globally. So, wow. Okay. So this is a really high caliber energy person. And I'm just so glad she's here with us today. So thank you so much for joining us, Keiya. So exciting to have you.
Oh my God, Sonja, I really am beyond excited to be here with you today. And especially knowing how we had this planned for a while. And so it is
Yes.
divine timing, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you so
Yes.
much for having me.
Same here. Same here. So I just wanted to say that, I've known you for a while, and
Yeah.
we have a very beautiful connection, which I
Yes.
very much treasure. And I know that, these past couple of years have definitely been challenging for people,
Mhm.
and not just for some people, but for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And I will include myself in that. And I don't know if you want to include yourself in that, but there's definitely been things popping up, that need to be addressed. And,
Yes.
from an astrological point of view, I have noticed that it has a lot to do with our limitations, that we're facing our
Mhm.
limitations. It has a lot to do with facing inauthenticities, whether
Yes.
that's individually speaking or socially or globally speaking.
Yes.
And that we're also recalibrating ourselves
Yes.
to a high degree, right? Where our physical bodies are recalibrating, but we have to sort of also catch up our mental, emotional levels and spiritual levels with all of that, right? So
Mhm.
there's a huge process of recalibration going on. And I was just wondering what your point of view on that is, or how you've been experiencing that in the last couple of years.
Wow. I mean, you really list, I think, what most of humanity really have been going through. And I really feel like it is a time of great awakening. And you hear that all the time, right? Like, oh, this was this time of awakening. But I feel like at this point in time, because we are really being asked, just like you said, to and the way I like to language it is to really claim our divinity.
Mm.
And so the limitations
Mhm.
that we are being faced with, the recalibrations, it's like you have no choice now, right? Like before, we can kind of, well, I'll get to
Cover
it,
it
or I
up,
can
or
cover it up, or I can.
yeah.
This is a time now where it is like the band-aid has been ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
And we're being asked to look at those wounds, look at it, heal it, deal with it, so that we're able to really step into who it is that we are destined to be.
Mm-hmm.
And, speaking of, I mean, a personal experience, when everything when the hit the fan, for myself, right? Say that. I was just like, oh my God, this is for me, actually. I had an opportunity to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it as, oh my God, this is so wonderful. I'm going to have this huge block of time
Mm-hmm.
to do all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And in essence, what happened was I had no energy. I had no strength to do all the things that I thought I was going to get done
Right.
in this downtime.
Yes.
Because now I had to face the limitations, the fears, the doubts, all the things that has actually stopped me from evolving. And so I spent 2 years doing nothing but going within.
Yes.
And really having these conversations with myself that I was too busy
having before.
I couldn't have them before. I was too busy. And so I feel like, challenges, we're being challenged in an astronomical way because we're being asked again to up level, transform, heal in a much bigger way.
And do the inner work to do it.
100%. And that's why we slow down.
That's my experience too. Yeah. To really have to trust that process, right? To trust that inner healing process. And it can be at times really overwhelming, right? Because we're not used to doing this type of work. We're not used to doing so much inner healing work.
Exactly.
That we usually have much more of a balance between outer and inner, or there's more focus on the outer. For most people, right? So it's really been very challenging to have to do such a 180 turn, right, into the inner world and not focus so much on the outer world. And I think a lot of people having a hard time with that, right? Having a hard time with truly going within, because it's scary territory at times, right?
It really is. And I think, one of the ways that we can really understand that, I think, is the process of surrendering.
I love that. Yes.
Because when we surrender, we are really letting go. And I think that's where, it can be a challenge because we feel like we need to
stay in control.
We need to do this ourselves. And when you're dealing with matters of the soul, right? Because this is an aspect of ourselves where we are really setting the personality aside and we're really stepping into, who we are as, again, a divine being, which is a lot of what my work is based around. How do you align with the truth of who you are? And what that requires is a deep level of surrender.
So true.
And when we're able to do that, that's now when we get quiet. And now we can hear, do this, do that, be guided to the right healer, to the right teacher, the right book. And so it's really a process of just saying,
it's a new approach for a lot of people, I think, I mean, some people already work along those lines,
right?
But even if you're already working along those lines, I feel like there's still a deepening that happens within that process. Because I've been very much on a spiritual path for 30 years.
Right.
Since I can remember.
Right.
And so even so, I feel like there's something new that's happening to me right now, something deeper, something that's really allowing me to see fully who I am, the totality of me, all of me, and to really fully integrate all of this so that I can sort of connect the dots. I can connect my human persona with my spiritual experience or connection, and to have more of a authentic connection between my higher self and my human self, where it can really fully integrate all of that together. That's kind of how it feels like, right? Rather than denying parts of myself and saying like, oh, I don't want to be that, or I don't want to look this way. And I want to just be, my higher self, right?
Right.
But to really learn how to integrate that higher self with the human persona that sometimes is very dense, right? There's a lot of densities that we need to accept about ourselves, and conditionings and things and traumas and just things that have happened in our lives, right? And so I feel that's really challenging for me, because being on a spiritual path for so long, and maybe other people can relate to this, when you're on a spiritual path for a long time, you feel like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. Like I don't have to integrate all of this stuff. I am better than that. Right. Which of course we're not, because we're human. And so we have to learn to really accept that the human persona or identity has a lot of stuff that maybe is different from our idea of what it is to be spiritual.
Well, what I think you're really speaking to, and is this level of next level. And so when you're speaking of how challenging it is for any of us and for all of us, and like you, I've been on a spiritual journey, oh my God, I feel like my entire life, really. Right. We're all at different levels and different stages of the process.
Yes, of course.
And so, the people that are, let's say people that are just starting their journeys, right? They're going to be at a different place, right? True. And so we're all at different levels. And what I've found throughout my journey is that we're always going to continue growing. And as long as we're breathing, we're here to evolve. And when we take in the aspect of our divinity and our connection to infinite intelligence, right? If we connect into the part of infinite, when we understand that, then there are no limits and no level to our growth. Right. So as much as we can think as, oh my God, I've done all this work and I've done, there's always more, because we are limitless. And that is, and I recently had sort of came to this through a process of just downloading and connecting with spirit through writing. And, I was really discussing with spirit this idea of limitlessness, right? And so you're addressing that. So when we have no limit. And I think this is really important for people to get, for us to get, and for me to remind myself, is that, the universe wants us to have life and have it abundantly. So when we think of having it abundantly, when we think of abundance in all of its glory, it's limitless.
Sure.
And so we have to upgrade our frequencies, our level of consciousness, really, to match that level of abundance that is available to us. So when we are, if we look at it, we're always going to be, an energetic match for the life that we're leading where we're at right now. And that's okay, right? Because all of it is perfectly okay. Yeah. We're all on the journey. And so when we think of, and so I share that so that for those of us who have been on the journey for a long time, for the person who's just starting, for them to just understand that, oh, I'm dealing with infinite intelligence. I'm dealing with the totality, with the divinity, with the vastness of my being. And life will always, always invite us to more, more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it shows up in ways where we have to overcome something in order to get to that next evolutionary place.
Always, every challenge is an opportunity, because, and I think that's why it can be so challenging, because it, right, because it was just easy. We go, oh yeah, well, I'm to just up level, I want to, I don't know, make $1 million. Why, I could just up level to making $1 million. But no, so there is the mindset, there is, right? So if you're, if right, if you're making $50,000 to upgrade to making $100,000, that's a completely different mindset, a different person, a different belief who can even vibrate to that, right?
Right.
And so, oh yes, all your crap will show up, because who you are, and I'll tell you a quick story. I remember when I first started coaching, I remember charging $50. And oh my God, I remember, when I said, oh, I'm just going to raise my rate to 75. From $50 to $75, let me tell you, you would have thought someone was asking me, and I don't even have kids, but they were asking me to give up my firstborn. It was so hard. Right. And I share that because, but as I evolved, as I up leveled, then it was, oh, okay. But that was the challenge for me to break that limitation, break those limiting beliefs, so that I can step in to the new level of who I know. And this is what we all know. We all, somewhere within ourselves, we know who we could be.
Yeah.
We know who we could be. And so I think that is what gives us that hope to keep going, because, we're like, I could be this. And okay, yes, oh, I could be this. And so what happens? Challenge comes. You overcome that. Another challenge comes. So grow.
But I think sometimes it's difficult to do all of it on your own, right? Like, I think what has helped me in the past certainly is having the support, from people that I can talk to and that I can sort of like be supported by, in order to up level and to grow and to, whether that was personal growth or growing my business or, growing within my marriage, it's always been really helpful for me personally to have someone really support me in that growth process.
I so love oh my God, you have really touched on something so very important. And I really want everyone who is tuning in to this message, to this really sacred time that we have together, that if you take nothing away from, this time, is that this is the most single important thing that you can do for yourself. And that is to get support. And I can tell you, if you do nothing, and I'm going to tell you why. As, not tooting my own horn, but I'm really good at what I do. I am a gifted healer, a teacher, a speaker, and I'm really, really good at what I do. Now, where did I come from? I come from someone who was mentally, physically, and sexually abused from the age of 8. I got to a point in my life where I hated my life so much that I wanted to end my life. And as a matter of fact, I attempted suicide. I had no belief in myself. My self-worth was 0. And the person who I am today is not possible without support. I needed support for people who believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. I had no belief in myself. None. And if it wasn't for the men and women that helped me all along the way, I would not, one, be here with you. First of all, I wouldn't even be alive today. So I wouldn't even be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to be sharing my gifts with the world.
Yeah.
And so when we speak of the challenges that we face in our lives, in growing and evolving, there is also a benefit to that, because what we're doing as well is we are going through a journey and a path so that we help others.
Yes, I believe that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but we only know what we know. And so these people that have gone through their journeys, that has overcome their challenges, what they have done, they've been able to reach back and say, I recognize this in you. I see where you're struggling. I can help you. And that is, I think, what makes even the work that I do today what it is, because I know what it feels like to not want to live. I walked around for 10 years just praying that I would die. Right. And so what I gained from all that, learned from all of that, was without support. And I know I'm really going on a tangent here because it is so important. And as a matter of fact, I wrote a newsletter on this just recently. The most important thing anyone can do is invest in themselves.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Thank you for letting me just go there.
Oh,
no,
thank you for sharing so beautifully and authentically. No, that was amazing. Thanks, Keiya. But I really agree with you, because I feel like my whole life could have not unfolded the way it did without all of the support that I've received in my life from various different people and sources. And it's everything that I've done to get this support has been so worth it.
Everything.
Like everything. I can't think of anything that I've done. Well, maybe there were one or two things where I'm like, oh, that was maybe not worth it. But you have those experiences too.
And
if you're someone
yes.
who seeks to evolve and who seeks
to
do a lot of things. But majority speaking, like
Absolutely.
most of the stuff that I've done has definitely been worth it. And I can't even, like, if you were to ask me, like, what's the one thing that's made the biggest difference in my life, I wouldn't even know what to point to. They've all sort of like worked together and have made me into who I am now.
100%. So even if people are, if you're that person who's actually have done a lot of work and you're like, well, I've done all this work, I promise you, you are growing, you are evolving. I remember spending like $10,000 one time for a program. And, I ended up leaving the program. I was like, oh, I didn't really get anything from that. Well, let me tell you, when I was preparing for my TEDx talk, and when I actually embarked on my speaking journey, I remembered as I started writing, I remember just this one thing that I learned, like this one thing that I learned in this $10,000 program. And can I tell you, that has literally like been the single best thing that I've done in every single one of my talks. Right. So if we really look for it, and I think it's also where we place our focus. So for folks, well, I didn't get anything from that. I didn't get anything from that. You won't find the, the diamond in the rough. But if we look, we're like, you know what? I got this one thing, and this one thing is going to lead. So you're right. If you ask me the same thing, I couldn't tell you either, because
it's a culmination of all the stuff that.
And I just kept saying yes. And like you, we just keep saying yes. The opportunities show up, we say yes. And eventually it all makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have like daily practices, or do you have like something that like little things that you do on a daily basis that support you in terms of like, especially with like mental, noise? Because I feel like the mind has been so loud lately in terms of like just all the information that comes in with all the technology that we're dealing with all the news media and with everything that's going on out there in the world. There's so much noise penetrating through us. And I mean, I have found it's really great to just stay away from the noise, but
Right, I do too.
maybe not everybody's able to do
Right.
that, right? I mean, some people, they're in the workplace, or they
Yes.
are, you know, engaged with family or with people that where they just are constantly confronted with that noise.
Yes.
So, I mean, what's your take on that? Like, what would be a great way to calm that noise down and
Yes.
to get yourself more into a centered, more grounded
Mm.
place within yourself?
Yes, I love this question. So I have a saying,
Mm-hmm.
the same way that we get dressed every day, we put our makeup on, or for the men, you know, we do, right? We do all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
to look presentable
Mm-hmm.
on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It is the same way we need to get dressed on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, because I really think I wanted, you know, because people say, well, do this and do that. But I really want people to understand, why are you doing this? Because then when we know why we're doing something, then we're more apt to doing it. So you'll hear like, well, you know, just meditate or do all things. And I'm going to get to that. But I think I want to lay the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is that by just the awareness of, oh, if I am going to get dressed on the inside, what am I doing really?
Mm-hmm.
I am setting myself up energetically for my day. We hear all the time, we're spiritual beings, right? We're physical beings having a spiritual experience. So
Right.
what are we in essence? Energy. And so one of the big things that I teach is how to harness, manage, and direct your energy.
Mm.
And so what we want to do every day is be in that space of managing our energy.
Yes. And listening
Right.
to it too, right? Because in order
Right.
to manage it, you have to listen to what's going on.
Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get
Right.
how to listen, but I
Right.
think I just want people to even become aware.
Yeah.
Because see, when I started my journey, I would hear meditate, I would hear all these things, but
Right.
it wasn't broken down. And what
Mm-hmm.
I'm attempting to do is just really breaking it down so people can
Yes.
understand, like, oh, well, why? Right?
Why am I doing
So
this? Yeah.
why we're doing this. So as a spiritual being, and if we are energy, everything is energy.
Right.
As an energy, we are really we're the magnet. And so as we are aligning and managing our energy, what we're doing is, in essence, we are creating for ourselves all of the experiences that we will attract to us or draw to us. So if I'm setting myself up energetically for the day, then I am preparing myself for only the highest vibration of interaction, of exchanges with people, right? Do you see? So then now, once we know that, we go, oh, this is why I'm doing it, right? Now we go into that next step of, then what do you do? So I think I just want to set it up for people to always know that we are all energy and we're all attractors. And throughout our day, throughout our life and our relationship and our business and everything, just being on the street, who am I calling to me?
Yeah.
And so we get dressed. So for me, it is doing meditation. It is setting myself up, setting a portion of my day, really first thing in the morning, right? Like setting up this quiet time to connect with my spirit, to align with my inner being, with spirit, with source, with God, with Buddha, whatever you want to call it. And that can take on a number of ways. It could be through meditation, through journaling. I love this idea of auto writing, where you just sit and you just write. You can just ask a question: how am I meant to spend my day? And you sit there and you just allow, right? Or you can say, or scripting is another great exercise that I love. I'm going to script my day. Today, I'm going to have an amazing day. No matter what, I'm going to be happy. All my interactions are going to be, right? And so what you're doing, you are taking responsibility for your peace, for your joy, for your success, for whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will tell you, I would be cray-cray if I wasn't doing that. Right? Like, and you can tell. So
yeah.
it really becomes a practice, and you will start to see the evidence, because as you start to do it, and it's amazing with my clients all the time, like if they show up and they're not doing certain spiritual practices, I know right away, because you will start to see such a difference when you prepare yourself energetically for the day versus when you just get up and you just go about your day. And so you will see the differences, and I promise you'll be like, oh yeah, I prefer to do this. I prefer to get dressed on the inside, you know? So yeah, it's if you're someone who especially is desiring to create more inner peace, more joy, more, I want to say tolerance, acceptance. Like how we said that together. This is a must. It's not, and I say that it's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable.
Now, what would you say to someone who is going through a grieving process, for example, right?
Okay.
Like, because I think there are exceptions to this. I mean, it's if someone is like on a regular level playing field of like every day, like I'm just going to work, I'm just dealing with stuff, and they're implementing these daily routines and setting themselves up energetically for the day, that I can see that working. But someone who's, you know, going through a grieving process, or someone who is been depressed for 5 years, you know, or for someone who is ill and is just not well, you know, their physical body is not well. It might still be okay to do these practices, but it might look a little bit different, right? Because you might not be able to get yourself in this place of joy, or in this place of like, you know, feeling necessarily fully aligned with your higher self in that moment.
Yes. Right? Okay. Love this. Oh, this is so good. So this is how I want to respond to that. Energy from energy is energy. And it's important for, no matter where you are on the spectrum, whether it be you are going through depression, you are grieving. I think the most important thing, the first step really is is intention. Okay, is the intention to improve your situation, no matter what it is. And the more that you can engage in these practices, what they will do is they will support you to moving from where you are, if you like, up the scale. And so I think it's really important for us to remember sometimes, because we can get really caught up in this. And the reason why I love this question so much is because, you know, we can look at our situation and we can be, oh, well, this particular thing won't work for me because I'm not there. But if we break it down and we go to the level of intention, into the level of what I'm wanting, I think starting, because most people, when you're grieving, when you are depressed, you're in a state of hopelessness, right? And so what these practices will do, if nothing else, it'll activate something within you. Because what we want to receive, no matter where we are, is just one little bit of a level of relief that can just clear the path.
What I'm hearing you say is that it's almost like taking little baby steps.
That's it.
Right? Like not
100%.
Wanting to go from grief or depression to like complete joy and enthusiasm, but to just kind of level up a tiny bit, that we 100%. Can't level up like 100% to the other side, but level up in tiny little baby steps and give ourselves to be grateful for even if there's just a
even
tiny little bit of leveling up happening.
exactly. And so it's really important, and you 100%. And so, but the reason why I says, because I really don't want, people to go, oh, because I am grieving or because I'm depression, this is not going to work for me.
Right.
Right. Because then what you're doing is you're keeping yourself in a holding pattern of staying where you are.
Yeah.
And the key is, how can, no matter how tiny that step is, right? Because what is our intention? Our intention is something it's an energy that we send ahead of us. Right. And so when we're sending that intention ahead of us, I want to feel better. I know I can hope to feel better. Then really, it doesn't really matter what that practice is.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if maybe for people who are in these denser places, it might be also important to just accept where they're at the moment before they even attempt to level up, right? So to just go into a place of like, I have the intention to level up. Before I do that, I also want to honor, where I'm currently at, because maybe I am there for a reason, right?
Well, I in a way, I think they can't help but honor where they're at, because you're there.
You're there. Yeah, right. But a lot of times people will have resistance, right? Like there's a lot of times when people are in these very dense places, there can be a lot of resistance towards being there, right?
Oh, you know what? I do agree, but I think there's an energy that I'm feeling that I think is very important in this conversation. And I feel like the energy that I'm wanting to sort of, and the reason why I'm going is because everything that you're sharing, I've been in all of them, and I've been in these places for so long.
Right.
And I think there is, certain conversations that tend to keep us in these places a little longer than we need to stay.
Yeah.
And I think there is, I was speaking with a client the other day, and I said, you know what, we got to get real to heal.
I like that.
Oh, okay. And I think there's a conversation also to be had. And so I just really want to make sure that there is a slight, and it's very, very tiny, sort of injection of this idea of, yes, we need to accept where we're at. But at the same time, within that fine line, how do I also take responsibility? Right. There's a level of taking responsibility, and because there's a place where people can get
not
stuck
that you're
in,
not the victim, you're not the victim of
exactly.
the situation, but that you are a creator that can move into a new
exactly. And you know what I love? I think in this, and now I get it, because I was feeling, because all my work is energy, and this is kind of how I work when I'm feeling like I'm not, it doesn't feel quite there. And I think what has made the difference to me with exactly what the point that you were getting to, it's not necessarily accepting it, because I even think the word accepting could mean something. I love the idea of making peace with where you're at.
I like that. Okay. Yeah.
Right. It's and that's why everything
that
is
feels
energy.
Different. Yeah.
Completely different. So if I'm able, right, because if I'm able to make peace, I'm just going to make peace with where I'm at. I'm not going to stay here. I'm just making peace, because you want, and so in that space of just making peace, it opens up, because the word acceptance, there's a heaviness, and that's what I was feeling. I'm like, what is, right? And even when I work with my clients, are getting a good example here.
Yeah, sometimes words are not always easy to find the right word.
Right, but the words have energy, and so I was feeling there was something around the word accept that felt heavy, because I remember, right, in my journey, I would hear that all the time, and I was like, I can't friggin' it, right? But when I heard made peace with, then I go, so what the focus becomes on peace now.
It's a better word.
Yes.
I like that. That's beautiful. And then from that place of peacefulness,
voila,
to take these little baby steps and
get
baby yourself steps. Little by little.
Right. And also too, I think when you come from that place of peace, what is there, it's not even about taking the steps. I think also what'll happen is a space will open up where you will be guided
Yes.
on what to do. And
Yes.
it
I
could be
think,
that, it could be the person that is meant to guide you along the way. So what peace offers is an opening.
Opening. Thank you. Yes. I was just
Is
going to
an
say that.
opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Beautiful.
this is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is super valuable because I think a lot of people are going through stuff right now, and I think to be able to talk about this in a way that's real and that's not, we're not just trying to put icing on a cake,
Not at all.
and the cake is all made out of shit,
Right.
and
right.
you just want
It's
to,
real.
you want to be real about it. And at the same time also, go to that next level slowly.
Exactly.
And I know I've experienced that with clients in the past where they felt really stuck, right? They felt really stuck in a place, whether that was addiction or whether that was, something in their life with their work or with their relationships, where they just feel really stuck. They feel like they've done everything. They've tried, they've tried this and this and this, and nothing seems to work, right? And what I've noticed with people like that is that they have tried so hard for so long that they just want it to be over. And so rather than doing the work in increments or in the baby steps, they want to go from 0 to 100 in 2 days. Right. And of course, that's vibrationally not possible necessarily, when we've been in a huge dense place for a long time. To go from a huge density to a very high vibrational place will take a little time.
Exactly.
Right. So I think sometimes, we also need to be patient with ourselves. We need to be compassionate with ourselves, right? In terms of the process, and to see it as a process, right? To not see it as like a going from A to B, but to see it as like, this is a process. This is an unfolding that's going on.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, we're on a journey.
Yeah.
Right. We're really on a journey. And I really believe that, had we not have the experience of being stuck and then moving past that, we wouldn't be able to learn the lesson, right? Imagine if just everything we wanted was zap,
like
zap, zap.
instant.
What would you learn?
Yeah.
You would learn nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so and I love that because it's the same thing. It's like, why am when I'm working with those clients that have that, and it's funny because I usually find that people come to me after they've tried everything, like they're like, I'm the go-to person. They've tried it all, and somehow they find me, and it's like, okay, now you're ready. And I think because it also takes a certain level of readiness, right?
Absolutely. You
takes
got to be ready to make a commitment, right? Because I feel like it's a commitment to yourself that you're making.
It's a huge commitment. And I said, that's why I think, I'm that's what I'm known for. Like, people come to me after they've tried everything, because then there is this understanding that, okay, I've done it all and I am ready to do something else. And when you get to that place, then you are willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And then also you understand the process.
Yeah.
You understand that it's a process. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And if we, and everything can
it's not a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix. And but I will tell you, but also too, when you get to a certain level, things do happen very quickly.
Right. I mean, once your vibration is on that level, absolutely.
It happens. Right.
That it's always a slow process. But I think just for those people who are sort of like in a lower density place, I think that's where it's important to recognize that it's not a quick fix, right?
It's
it takes commitment and time and baby steps to get
100%.
But I think as you go into a higher vibration, things start to go quicker as you go further up, right? But but it's, you can't force getting there, right? You cannot force getting to that higher vibrational place. You're at where
I've done it. I've tried.
And
you can't.
And you just gotta do the exactly.
And I think it's so interesting because it really boils down to sort of this beautiful awareness that we both came to. And I think every step of the way is just making peace with where you are. I think if there's anything we can get wherever we are on the journey, and one of the things that I've also been practicing myself is that, oh wow, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Because
I love that, yes.
I am that person. I was that person for so long. Like, oh my God, like what else? I've been on this for so long, and why? And I've done all this, and trust. I mean, I've seen all the healers and all the and I've done everything. Like I've done everything. God, Spirit, Universe, right? I've done
Who wants me to do?
What else do you want me to do? Right? But now I can go, wow, I can so see how I am
all perfect, really.
It's all perfect. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And in every moment, how can I just make peace with where I am? Be in gratitude for where I am.
I love the gratitude part.
That's really, it's such a gift, because from there, magic.
I think being in gratitude is powerful, because if you can just do that every morning and every night, every morning when you get up out of bed and every night before you go to bed, if you can just do that, that's such a small thing to do. Just remember what you're grateful for.
You know what? I love the idea of gratitude. And I think a lot of people, and I'm going to go there with this one a little bit, only because I used to hear that all the time. And, and I was in such a dense place that no matter how grateful I was, it was just like, okay, I'm grateful for this. And
right.
Okay. And I think this is what I'm speaking about, the whole idea of getting real to heal, right? And so when we think of being in the dense places, I know right now there are people that are making lists of gratitude and they're not seeing any changes. And so what I would like to offer, the person that, yes, the energy of gratitude is so potent and so profound and so transformational. But at the same time, it's kind of like when we were speaking about that process, it's literally one of those things from my experience, like you got to get to a certain level for being in gratitude to even be of benefit to you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You have to have a certain level of.
Yes. So I was doing gratitude journals and lists forever. And it was like, and so what I found that was very, very helpful is keeping an evidence journal.
Tell me more.
And what I like about an evidence journal is, and it's really kind of a gratitude journal in reverse.
Right.
And it's like, I am going to keep an evidence of all of really the good things or the nice things that happened to me today, that happened for me today. And why? It's a slightly different spin, because what it's doing is it's actually teaching you the power that you have.
Right.
It's saying, oh, look what is happening for me or to me. Oh, and so your energy now is looking for evidence of good things, happy things. And so what it does, right? It's almost you're setting yourself up for this. Whereas when we think of gratitude, we're kind of doing it in the reverse, because we're waiting for something good to happen so we can say this happened. But what we're doing in the reverse of an evidence is we're getting ahead of it. And we're saying, you know what? I'm going to set myself up to look for evidence of something tiny, like someone smiled at me today. Oh, wow. Do you see how that is so different? So then it starts to build your confidence in yourself. Like, oh, I'm not hopeless. Oh, like, oh, you know what? Good things could happen for me. So and I felt to me that was a lot more powerful. And as you start to build that evidence, now I can be grateful for the evidence that I'm getting. Oh, completely changes.
I love
everything.
that. I love that, looking for evidence that things are happening for you, or that you're sort of like growing, or
Yes.
I like that a lot. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But one last thing I want to say, because I know we have to come to an end here.
Yes.
One of the things that I always tell myself and also
Hmm.
my clients to a large degree, but something that's helped me to a great degree is to trust the process, right?
Yes.
So and trusting the process brings me a lot of peace, right? So
Hmm.
we're talking about peace, like making peace with something.
Yes.
When
Yes.
I start to trust
Hmm.
that where I'm at is exactly where I need to be, or
Hmm.
what is happening for me, and I'm trusting that the universe
Yes.
is collaborating with me, that there's always support there for me, or I'm trusting that wherever I'm at is what I need to experience currently,
Hmm.
and so forth, right? So there's like
Yes.
this sense of trust
Hmm.
in not just the universe or life, but also in myself, that I
Yes.
am a big part of that
Yes.
collaboration, right, between
Yes.
me and life.
Yes.
Like that, focusing on that trust has helped me tremendously, right? So I just wanted to share that, because I feel that that's a piece that can really be helpful for people to tap into.
Oh my gosh, you nailed it. I think that is, could probably be another. There's so many
Could be a whole
things that
other
I
conversation.
could be a whole lot of conversation, but there is just something, and I think that's another thing that I really, if it's one thing that I feel like I really help my clients own,
Yeah,
I really help them own that trust in themselves.
yeah, I think that's
Because
essential.
when we can trust in ourselves, I think it is the thing that has made the greatest. We talked earlier, right? Like not finding that one single thing that has made the difference, but a culmination of everything, but
Yes.
the trust in self,
Yeah.
the trust in who you are as a divine being.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that, because I think there's a lot of talk in trusting the universe and trusting the process, and you absolutely need that. But I think the bigger conversation really is, how do you develop that trust in yourself?
Yeah.
Because
So,
trusting in yourself is then trusting in the divinity, because we are an extension
because
of the
it's the same
universe.
thing. Yeah,
Is the same
exactly.
thing. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I love, 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 love that.
Yeah. So I love that we're ending on this
Yes.
point, because that's a really powerful way to end our conversation. So I just wanted to say that people can get in touch with you if they want to connect with you, right, Keiya? You
Yes,
have
yes,
a website which
I
is called
do.
Keiya K. What's it?
Rayne. It's Keiya K Rayne.
KeiyaKRayne.com. Yeah.
Yes, and you will
And
have the
then,
link.
yeah.
I also wanted to extend, speaking of energy and harnessing and managing, I
Yeah.
also want to extend a free gift to
Mm.
your audience. And it's a 60-second reset your energy and reclaim your power to experience more freedom, joy, and ease.
Beautiful. Thank
And
you.
yes, yes, because it's all about energy, and it's 60 seconds. You get it quick. And they can receive that on my website, which is, and I'll spell it out because, and I'm sure you'll have the link.
I'll have the link below this video as well. Yeah.
Yes, you'll have the link, and so I want to
Yeah.
extend that in the energy, right, of getting ourselves energetically prepared for our day.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Okay. So I will make sure that people have the link to your website, so they can go to your website and
Yes, get
sign
that
up
free
for
gift.
that free gift.
Yes.
And great. And see what else you have to offer.
See what
Wonderful.
else I have to offer, and
Yes.
just feel free to say hello.
Yeah, and you also teach, and you have events coming up, right? So they can look at that on your website as well, if there's
Yes,
anything that they
yes.
would like to connect with you.
Absolutely. Yes. And something really exciting that I'm in the process of creating, that we've talked about, that
Yes,
will
I
hopefully be
know.
up on the website soon. So yes,
Great,
this was just
great,
so, so delicious and so
wonderful.
delightful. Oh,
Thank you so
thank you
much,
so much.
Keiya. You are such a light. You're so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, love.
Okay, so much love. Bye bye. This
Oh,
was
that was,
beautiful. That was
oh my
perfect.
God. Oh my God. This was so, wow.
So
I loved
perfect.
it. It was
Yeah,
really
that's
just,
really
I felt
great.
like we were just in this beautiful vortex
Yeah,
of really like having a real deep conversation to
yeah,
really help people like
yeah. Level up. Yeah,
level up. Oh, this is
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, we
It
got
was
to do more
great.
of
Yeah.
this.
And I love you so much. And thank
Love
you for
you.
this. Okay.
Yes, you're welcome. Talk soon, my love.
Talk soon. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.